Hello and welcome to the Moinescape podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell. We're here to talk about the Thursday, March 26th MLB opening day. The NHL 13 game slate with some of the worst contests of the year. DJ, let's get into it.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
Yes, it is baseball season, which means it is the most fun time of year in the DFS streets for NHL because all the fun players are coming in from college and overseas and whatever else for these nonsense garbage dead teams. But we lose all the prize pools to profit off of it. So DJ, how are you feeling on this Wednesday evening?
Worse now that I learned how bad the slate was. Yeah, I just pulled it up as you were kicking things off, and $5K to first $20. Feel the thrill. What was the old the Leafs slogan what was something with failure or something? You know what I mean? Like the thing that was in their locker room that everyone made fun of, like refuse to.
Yeah, like don't try, don't whatever.
What the fuck? Leafs locker room slogan. I gotta look this up. I just feel like it reminds me exactly of this.
No grit, no grind, no greatness.
No grit, no grind, no greatness. That's DraftKings. No grit, no grind, and no greatness. Tough break for the believers, but we have 13 games, and regardless of the DFS slate, there's plenty to bet on.
Yeah, I've got really bad news. The StreamYard decided it doesn't want to share my screen. I don't know what causes this, but I do believe that means I need to close out. Yep, it's the once every quarter. It's the quarterly hairball for you cat owners of the podcast. So I will be back. DJ, talk about how terrible Tuesday was.
All right. Yeah, I mean, was Tuesday terrible? I mean, one of my bet slips got home, so I'm not going to sit here and say terrible. You're still here,
congrats.
By the way. I thought
it was bad for me. I'm waiting for the right time to leave. But yeah, it was terrible for me. So I figured you would take the ball and run with it. Okay. But hey, you did great.
Well, you didn't leave, so I had to continue to pass the ball back to you.
Okay, goodbye.
Face is still here. We got a good question here. Did I win my playoff game? The answer is no. We got goalied, and that's what happens. I mean, I think we played decently well, but did not win. So that means that next week's podcast will not be interrupted because it would have been Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, 3-game series. What is going on? Welcome back. We have 13 games. I mean, there's a ton of prospects coming up. The Frendell magic, I'd say more or less happened. I mean, he was 3K on the last slate. He's now 3,400. So good to see. Tuesday was fine. I mean, my flip on score got home, but most of my bets were, I think it was like either 7 of 15 or 8 of 15. I can't remember off the top of my head, but really disappointing that Cutter couldn't bring home some magic. But that we move forward. Thursday, there's still tons of playoff implications, some dead teams. I don't think in my life I've ever seen a team like the Florida Panthers where again, we keep talking about it. Like it feels like active tanking. Like now Lindell is out. And Tom Lindell isn't going to play. They said, he's probably going to miss like 2 to 6 weeks. Doesn't need surgery. It's like a rib injury. So he's just not going to play for the rest of the year, I guess. They're just not going to play him. Another guy going down. They just looked completely out of sorts against Seattle. That was tough to see on Tuesday. Watching Seattle storm back when I swapped off of them. My original build was to try to play some of Seattle and Colorado. I swapped to LA 1, Anaheim 1, mainly just because, honestly, why did I do that at 7 p.m.? I could not build something with McKinnon, Nachos, and Makar that felt really cogent. And I honestly don't think it would have won much of anything. I basically finished dead last with a, I think, really unique, better lineup. But, instead of finishing like 1,520th with a better scoring lineup, but still, not going for the top prizes. That was mainly my Tuesday. I will I guess just continue till Matt gets back and say a couple things about this upcoming slate because it is a 13 gamer. And one thing I noticed is the scores are really high as far as totals. There's few and far between 5.5. So I'll list off some of those, like the Dallas and the Islanders game. That will really limit ownership, I think, on Dallas, who I really like in this spot, but the 5.5 minus 122 on the road, that's not going to be a very popular game in general. The next 5.5 is Chicago and Philly. They'll see some ownership just because of the condensed roles that we talked about last time. And that's it. Every other game is listed as a 6.5 right now. So really there's only 2 spots with massively reduced ownership. And that just leads to, I think, a lot of fun and a lot of opportunity to get a bit unique. There are, of course, going to be some chalky spots, but I, again, don't see anything unbelievably chalky. Like, even what you would think on paper feels chalky, like the Blues in a game against the Sharks is a minus 135 and a 6.5. Like, that won't be that chalky either because of how expensive the Blues are now. So I do think the slate lends to getting unique, getting creative, and building something that I don't even think it'll be hard to build something that isn't very highly owned because I don't really know what's going to be the chalk slate. McDavid against Vegas, for example, like how's that going to go? I think Minnesota, maybe. Matt, are you ready to share the rainbow sheet? I think it popped up for a second there.
Yeah, thank you for giving us all the best words.
You kind of sound like shit now.
Huh.
Is it just me in the studio?
No, it's
that's
okay.
better.
Yep. Okay, it's not letting me pick my headphones as the audio output, but it is currently using it as the audio output. I had to switch over to Firefox. So
okay.
It doesn't remember any of the defaults, so that's why it sounded terrible. But it allows me to show the rainbow sheet. So onward we march. It looks like Columbus and Montreal has some tempo to it. No surprise. Montreal's been scoring a lot lately, though under the hood they've been allowing a bit against them as well. Ottawa against Pittsburgh. We'll talk about that game. I have some thoughts. Tampa hosting Seattle. Obviously looks pretty solid. New Jersey at Nashville. Interesting there. With New Jersey putting up a 6 spot, was it, on Dallas? Or they put up 7? A lot of goals, nonetheless, for them. Anaheim and Calgary.
You mean the game against San Jose?
No. New Jersey putting up...
No, okay.
Wait, what? Do I have the games wrong?
Well, no, Nashville put up 6 against San Jose last night.
Oh, no, I said New Jersey.
Oh, okay. They both put up 6 then. So there's 12 goals in that game.
Nashville's just getting goaltending and goalie, against them. Like they're just whatever. Anaheim versus Calgary is going to be interesting, and then LA in Vancouver as well. Ownership wise, I'm even trying to remember last night. I don't even remember Tuesday night. My shit was dead on arrival. It was a tough night.
Yeah.
When Chicago scores 4 and none of it comes through Bedard. What are you gonna do? It just is what it is. Should have played Nick Lardis like an absolute alpha male, but I possess no such stones. Yeah. I'm guessing you took a guess at ownership spots, but I'm just pulling.
Yeah, I mean, I went over that there's only 2 5.5s. And one of them is that Chicago Philly game, and the other one is Dallas and the Islanders. Everything else is 6.5. So like,
what do we got to do to get some respect on these Islanders? I mean, I guess that game yesterday also went there, but holy fuck, was there a lot of fantasy goodness there?
Yeah, that one seems a little bit odd to me that was a 5.5. But
wait, no,
I think that'll
over. I forgot the Islanders came back. Yeah, another over for the Islanders believers. So keep pounding.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't know what's going to garner a lot of ownership other than probably LA because it seems like that's every time, and like maybe Anaheim again should be a bit chalky, but
Tampa's going to have a massive total.
Yes, they do. What about Utah?
Yeah, because we'll talk about them, but it looks like we're getting Logan Cooley discount.
Yeah, so minus 155, 6.5 at home.
Yeah.
God, I really don't know. I mean, Tampa's going to
Yeah,
have a
I think
huge
it's
total.
Kings. I think it's Kings, honestly.
I think it's Kings, but yeah, well, I mean, obviously we're going to cover every single game, but yeah, Tampa is really expensive. The Kings are a lot cheaper. Anaheim it's a little bit spread out, and then the Mammoth, I feel like, are just kind of the value. So I think that's probably going to be the chalkier builds on Thursday. But we'll just go game by game. There's a lot of green for goals index and not a lot of Corsi pace. So goals are happening and shots aren't. Just another night that looks like a good point prop night comparatively to a shot on goal night. So why don't we go over the guys that might be in good spots, and we can start with the one team that is silent tanking and one team that is loud tanking.
Again, do I have the? Are you saying Minnesota silent tanking? Oh, right, that's
Yeah.
right.
Also,
That's right. Our theory. Our
you
theory.
sound quiet to me, but I can't tell if anyone else. I put it in the chat. Does anyone
All
else
right,
think Matt sounds a little bit quiet?
I got closer to the microphone. Is this still not great?
It doesn't sound any louder.
The yeah, this browser doesn't support removing background noise, which living in the real world has. I have some like air vent stuff going that maybe is pulling from it. I'll fuck with the game, see if that does anything, but it'll probably just ruin everything for everyone.
That sounds a little bit better.
Well, because I'm now standing up.
Yes, soft might be the right word, actually. It really sounds like you are trying to be a little quieter.
Hello. Which way's up? I don't even know.
That's good. Better.
Okay.
Better.
All right.
That's better. Okay. We'll get into it now. We have the Minnesota Wild again. I mean, again, the silent tanking thing is more of a media narrative than anything else, because if they continue to lose, they will likely face Anaheim instead of Dallas in the first round, which they'd have to do quite a bit of losing, but definitely within the cards. They're, of course, favorites on the road against, as I mentioned before, you joined a even more depleted Florida Panthers team. Now without Anton Lundell, who they're just like, yeah, he's got a rib injury. 2 to 6 weeks. It's like, oh, the amount of time the season has left in it. All of a sudden, he's sure, why not, right? At this point, who cares? Yeah. So, top line was fully correlated. Kaprizov, Eriksson, and Boldy. That when against a Tampa team, it looked early on like that was going to be a Minnesota kind of bounce back situation. They scored a couple early, and then all of a sudden you look back at the score and it's 6-3. That top line did get huge minutes, 22 for Kaprizov, 21 for Boldy, and 20 for Eriksson Ek. So definitely they didn't ease them back in. All top line, top power play as you have listed there. And then the last guys in were Zuccarello and Quinn Hughes. Of course, Zuccarello scores the power play goal. But this top line is incredibly expensive. It is a really good spot. The underlying numbers are great. And the shot volume before the injuries for Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov were massive. And we know what Boldy can do. So it's an interesting spot. I don't think it gets very chalky, but I think people will look at it.
Yeah, part of why my Tuesday was so terrible. I saw the top line, full correlations on news, and like I've been mentioning on a few shows, especially over the weekends, is I'm trying to do the goal plus assist SGPs on DK because I think they're over penalizing playing on different lines basically. And I knew they weren't reacting quickly enough to, Eriksson at Kaprizov, Boldy as a line. So I did every goal scorer with every assist, for the three. So I did 3 different combos of each guy scoring with the other 2 assisting. And I wasn't watching the game. There's all these games going on. I think in intermission, I took a shower of the 7:00 game. So I wasn't watching the 7:30 game. And I come out and they scored 2 power play goals. And I'm like, I must be rich. No, not at all. Tough scenes for old moods there. I think it's fine to go back to Kaprizov, Eriksson, Boldy. I am very curious what ownership looks like here. They've not been good over the last stretch. We're talking 26 DK points. Obviously, some injuries here for Eriksson and whatnot. For 22.4K. But you look under the hood, 38 expected DK points. It's still not great for the price, but it's better. Yeah, like it's not my favorite stack for sure, but if you need some leverage, like that's obviously a spot you could look to. I think down the lineup, Brink, Yurov, Johansson's a little bit interesting. I mean, we know that Florida only has 1.5 lines right now, So Brink, Yurov, Johansson, two of them get power play time. We know Brink and Mojo are like actual players. Like they generate fantasy points, and Yurov should be one. If not right now, like in the future. He's a first round pick. He had really good KHL stats. Like he hasn't really flashed much this year, but it's fine. But because the wings are so cheap there, 2,700 and 2,800 for Brink and Johansson respectively, I actually think that would be my favorite spot in this game, and just hope that this depth of Florida that we'll get to can't do anything. Any other Minnesota thoughts?
I like the top line, and I don't hate the idea of the punt, but I probably don't get to it. No, I mean, not really. I've been very much trying to play Quinn Hughes. It just feels a bit too expensive at 6,800 right now on this slate. So, a tentative maybe. I'm not that worried about the injuries to Eriksson and Kaprizov. Like, it felt a little bit precautionary in a sense. Like, if they really needed them to go, they maybe could have. And I don't mind getting a player on with a little bit of rest comparatively to many teams playing many games in short order. So, Florida, we can get over to, you pull them up on DraftKings, you're going to see.
I think you froze. If not, it's me. On the Florida side, last game without Anton. Are you back? All right, I think you just muted. Boakfist.
I cut out. I don't know when I cut out, but I
did.
cut out.
You cut out pretty early. So Boakfist, Erod, Luostarinen, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk. This game did answer the question of how many Florida Panthers need to get injured for Carter Verhaeghe to be on the top power play unit, and the answer is all of them. Because finally, when the options are Jesper Boakfist, Luostarinen, Ekblad, Hinostroza, and I don't remember who the fifth one was, and I didn't mark it. So in any case, that guy, they said, all right, Carter Verhaeghe, you're finally on the power play one. So there we go. Congratulations to the Carter Verhaeghe fans out there. 19K for that line. No thank you. Any Florida input here?
I mean, you're not even going to say about Noah McDavid-Gregor down there with a 19.5 score? We're just going to ignore that. Game. Minimum salary, I mean, Giga Smash in 10 minutes. Just whatever. I guess we'll just ignore that. But no, yeah, it's bad. It's ugly. I'm not interested at all. And really, like, what punt would you even feel good about clicking about here? None. Like, is there a world where you can even take a look at like a Hinostroza and say, like, is this a revenge narrative?
Yeah.
Like
he was actually there earlier this year.
Earlier this year, right? Yeah. So there you go. If you want a min salary player that sucks, that's going to be power play 2. Here's another one. At least he has a semblance of shootiness in his career and a revenge narrative to boot. But yeah, it's pretty much a hard pass for me. Not cheap enough, not good enough. No thanks.
Yeah, you just simply have to look to the other side of the game to find better punts, in my opinion. So,
yeah, we already gave them to you, which is fair.
All right. So yeah, Columbus at Montreal. Columbus last game, being on fucking Firefox is really annoying. I can't flip back and forth very easily, so I'm very annoyed. Anyway, I think Columbus kept Marchment, Fantilli, Marchenko, Johnson, Marnahan, Garland, Sillinger, Coyle, Olivier as they beat the Flyers. Zach Werenski, of course, continuing to play very well, but Damon Severson creeping up into very, very useful fantasy range, and he's only 3,000. So long as he plays with Werenski, he may just be a top punt. You're talking 6.4 expected DK points at 3K, pretty good, and 8 actual over the last 10 games, which is obviously good enough. It's not like he's going to win you a GBP or anything, but he doesn't seem too far-fetched from being like a double, not a double bonus, but like a blocks bonus and a couple shots and a point kind of guy. So I think I like that play. Forwards-wise, they're heading into Montreal. I think I just prefer Montreal, but any thoughts here on which line you'd go with on Columbus if you had to choose?
I mean, I think it's obviously the top line, but I think I just agree that it's not really worth the squeeze right now with the pricing coming up so much. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going there, but I would understand. Like Fantilli does have elite upside, and this is a very big playoff implication type of game where they should see good minutes. The third line has been fair enough in a reduced role, but mainly there to play defense. And I wonder if they can try to get the top line out against better matchups than the top line for Montreal, which has been absolutely world beating. I'm fine to just move over because there's really nothing new here. Just the same stuff. Marchman's been good. Definitely would include him with the top stack if you're going this route. Werenski's been fantastic, but he's 8K, which is really tough to afford. So I'm down to move over. Montreal doesn't take long to talk about either. Like Suzuki,
it's worth
Slavkovsky, and
noting.
Caulfield.
It's worth noting once again that like Columbus does have a good matchup on paper. Last game against Carolina, they got absolutely caved in, but that's Carolina. Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky feels like they've earned the benefit of the doubt there, and like I don't know that even as well as Fantilli is playing, that like I'm willing to say on a 13 game slate that I'm planting my flag there. Fantilli's emergence does seem to sort of killed off Marchenko's fantasy goodness. Like he's just not shooting as much. I don't really think Columbus is going to be the team where they have multiple guys eating with Zach Werenski taking so much of the pie. So I'm pretty much like a Fantilli one-off or Severson one-off or nothing on the Columbus side. For Montreal, um, obviously Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield's been playing so well. They are now 21.3K as a line. 38 expected DK points last 10 games, 49 actual. Preposterous stuff from them as of late. Is there anyone else on Montreal you're even somewhat interested in here?
Sorry, Zach Benson just scored an absolutely absurd goal. No.
That's great.
Nobody. It's the top line or nothing. I don't know why you get cute here. There's much better options to get cute with, and Montreal is not one of them. Love the top line. Continuing to consider them on every single slate. Like Cole Caulfield should be 8K. I mean, that's just that's the correct price for what he's doing right now. And I'm not saying that it's a must play by any stretch at 8K, but that's what he should be priced at. Like, I don't think it's wrong to click on. So I think my problem with Montreal is that there's like 4 spots I think I'm getting to before them. And I do think they could see some level of ownership. So I am down to move over to a team that, like I'm kind of alluding to, I think I just like more. That team being Dallas, if you're ready. But if there's anything else you want to cover here, like I don't know what we could gush and grannies about Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and Caulfield till we're blue in the face. But did you see somebody else here you want to talk about?
Montreal at home is a slight favorite, and their goalie is 7,400. That tends to come with ownership, but keep an eye on it. There's 13 games. I'm not sure what the projection donkeys are going to use, but this feels. I mean, I got away with Dobesh last game, and they got caved by Carolina, so I'm a little biased, or whoever started. I think it was Dobesh. But it's just a weird pricing thing that Columbus is more expensive, even though they're on the road and an underdog. So you could get some good value out of Montreal goalie, or you could get some chalk, or both. Just wanted to point that out for the good people who love goalies. Dallas, we're nearing, Mikko Rantanen. He's going to be the first one to return. We don't know when. I think this weekend is more likely. They play 3 games, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think Rantanen will be back this weekend. I don't think that game is Thursday, but just keep an eye out. As long as that remains the case, or even if he does return, I imagine J-Rob, Johnston, and Bork will stay together, just given how they've played. J-Rob coming off an absolute smash-tastic game. He's 8,600. I think he had 10 or 11 shots on goal in that one. So any specific guys on Dallas you want to talk about here?
I mean, I love the top line. I mean, I don't really know what else there is to say. It is very expensive. As you just mentioned, Jason Robertson is coming off of a 40 bomb against the Devils, and I don't really think saw much ownership. I bet he doesn't see much ownership again. Maverick Bork has not really put out the output that you want to see, but it feels like it's bubbling under the surface every game, and his role is definitely big enough at 4,200, and we know what he can do as far as being a great shooter. So I love the top line here. it's hard to click on a defenseman, make the pick between Miro and Harley. Like on one hand, you have Thomas Harley, who just it's a blocks bonus every night right now. 4 straight blocks bonuses, 2 points last night. 20 points at 4,400. I love going to that well. Miro 6K feels a little expensive, but he's also has double point, blocks, shots, like everything kind of coming along for the ride here. So I do like this stack. I'm not saying that the Islanders are the perfect team to pick on by any stretch on the road. I feel like this is like one of those things that I love on Wednesday night recording the podcast. Then I go to make my lineup and I just don't end up kidding to it though, because I make up a coward. I'm wondering if you're thinking, no, maybe at sometimes you just have to take the sports books at their face value a little bit and say they're not entirely wrong, or maybe you're going to try to convince me this game is better than the sports books think, and we should consider.
Fuck the sports books. They're a bunch of donkeys.
Perfect.
Ultimately, I think the way I want to play this game is a Dallas one-off and an Islander stack, if anything. Yes, the output is concentrated on the Dallas side to a handful of guys. I honestly think though that you could play Thomas Harley or J Rob or maybe even I think you can play Jamie Benn in the sort of game environment here, and just say that hey, Dallas does a little bit of something and they make the Islanders floor it, because when the Islanders floor it, Matthew Schaefer plays 32 minutes. This is real life we're talking about. Matthew Schaefer coming off of a game where he played over 31 minutes. You're getting power play one pieces around him on the cheap in Braden Shen and Cal Ritchie, both of whom have been fine production-wise for the price tag. And I think that Horvat, Lee Heineman, and Pajot Holmstrom Palat are much more likely to see matchup minutes with that top line in Dallas. So you're getting the underbelly. You're getting Tyler Myers chaos draft minutes for Matt Barzal to create for one of Shen and Ritchie alongside Schaefer. So I think stacking through the power play makes the most sense with the Islanders, but it really boils down to Schaefer plus Ritchie plus Shen, or some combination of two there. In my opinion, I think Barzal's a little too pricey. I think Horvat's a little too pricey for me to be seriously interested in. But in the larger field GPP stuff, I certainly would be stacking, with those guys as well. Just thinking about how I play the 100-man contest, for example. I don't think you need to go up to Barzal or Horvat to make a lineup that has the proper amount of leverage from this game. So again, I like this game. I like this team. The Islanders are just perfect for fantasy. Yes, Sorokin's going to steal it some nights, but on the nights he doesn't, I think that just creates instant sort of fireworks for your lineup. Anyone I didn't mention on the Islanders side you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I find it very difficult to click on Barzal or Horvat, and I just feel like at that point, is it Matthew Schaefer one-off? That also feels a little bit thin. I just don't think I'm getting there, but I definitely like the idea of if you have 10 bullets, really considering going this route with whomever kind of. I think that power play stack makes a lot of sense. I obviously am a Emil Heineman guy, and 3,700 feels like a really, really fair price to pay even without the top power play role. So I get it for sure, but I'm not entirely brave enough to actually click the buttons, I don't think, on Thursday. I'm down to move over to the Anton Frundell conversation in Philly.
Woohoo! We love that conversation. Chicago heading into Philadelphia. Chicago, Frundell, Bedard, Green, Nick Lardis, Frank Nazar, Bertuzzi, Burakovsky, Donato, Mikheyev, Teravainen, Lafferty, Slaggert. We're on Sasha Boivert watch, however you pronounce that last name there, but he is likely to play sometime this week. I don't think he factors into the top 6 or a power play unit at the moment, but it's theoretically possible that he does, so just keep an eye out. The second line of Lardis, Nazar, Bertuzzi stole the show on Tuesday night, but ultimately it was about Anton Frundell. He got his first NHL point. He had, I think, a couple blocks, a couple of shots, and ultimately just looked the part. Bedard needs a shotgun rider, and for now, it looks like he's capable of playing the role. He's still 3,400. We're talking in his first game, 14.3 expected DK points. That includes a primary assist and a few good scoring chances. Obviously, a couple blocks as well. And Bedard didn't factor into the scoring at all. I think I already mentioned that and complained. So
Yep.
I think you go back to the well. It's 11K for those two. You don't need to play Ryan Green with it. Another interesting thing that came out of that game was Vlasic and Levshinov really played as the alpha pure number one D pair. I think they both got upwards of 23, 24 minutes there. With Levshinov getting top power play billing too, then you're not really worried about sort of the game script getting away from him like we were maybe in the past. So I think that's an interesting development. Something Levshinov, Frendel, Bedard makes sense to me. But any thoughts here?
Did I cut out? Am I here?
Maybe.
Okay, I don't even know if any of my words came through. I like Frendel and Bedard quite a bit.
Great.
I'm not, I don't think it's going to come as a surprise. I'm not going to the line too well and praying that clicks again. I just, I'm down to take advantage of the Chicago. I'm not this Flyers game that I don't think is particularly great with Bedard and Frendel, who I think are really on another level and priced not correctly. So this is probably my favorite stack so far. It's just this two-man. I don't think I'm going Levshin off at 3,200, just a little bit steep. I'm down to move over. Yep, to Philly. Philly didn't exactly end up being what we thought it would be. They got a little bit healthier and didn't go 11-7 as we as they have been. The minutes were still decently concentrated, not to the extreme extent that we had previously seen. Konechny saw 19, Zegras 19, Tippett 18, Dvorak 18, Michkov even 17. I think that's the most he's ever played in a game. There's something here against Chicago for sure. And like, could you convince yourself to game stack this? I think you could do that. Chicago is going to be more fun. They're going to be playing players who are 18, 19 years old and are very unlikely to be great defensively. Like a lot of these guys are not, they're the best players at their age. They are not looked at to play defense. They're looked at to score goals. That's their job. And as Matt's highlighting, the big problem here is this game on paper looks like an absolute snooze fest. But in my opinion, it's really the bottom of these lineups are just so abhorrent that like there's just the pace gets grinded to a halt when either bottom six is out there. Like I think you could play three guys here and feel okay. Like you could just play Tippett, Bedard, and Frendel as a game stack and move on. Like I think that's fine. Probably wouldn't get carried away and make it up, an 8-man game stack or anything absolutely absurd. But I'd be fine still going back to Tippett.
Yeah, Michkov moved on to the top power play over Dvorak. I think if this game goes crazy, you're gonna want a piece of Trevor Zegras. I think 5K feels like the right price against Chicago with no ownership coming. That you can play Tippett as a one-off, but ultimately I think if Tippett's getting the 30 that we're hoping for, like Zegras is gonna have a really good game. He'll just he'll control things, and I think this is their optimal power play setup with Zegras, Tippett, Konechny, Risto, and Michkov. So I'm gonna play around with that idea. Obviously I think that's a little out of left field with Zegras. But we'll see, because obviously I like Bedard, Frendel, I like Levshinov, so not sure if I want to game stack a Chicago Philly game either for my exposure here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and again, it's the second of the two 5.5s back to back. I mean, they're right there for you. The lowest total, not going to be very popular. I think both spots are interesting though. A spot that is also, I mean, maybe the most interesting game on paper to discuss is Pittsburgh and Ottawa. It's a 6.5, huge playoff implications. Maybe more so interesting on the Ottawa side of things, if you were living under a rock and didn't play DFS last slate. But starting with Pittsburgh, I'd say first and foremost, they lost 6-2. They only allowed 1.8 expected goals and gave up 6. Not a good recipe for success. The top power play was Rust, Mantha, Carlson, Raquel, Crosby, which I never expected considering Chinikov scored early and with no Malkin. I was pretty surprised that he wasn't on the top power play. And maybe they go to it after not, that game early not going as planned. But with all that being said, is there anything on this Pittsburgh side you like, considering Ottawa is really banged up defensively? Do you think that warrants consideration, even though Ottawa's been kind of world beating defensively, regardless?
Yeah, so the big news today was Anthony Mantha is also day to day. He will travel with the team though. Malkin won't, so TBD on if Mantha is available. If not, then we would assume Chinikov moves on to the top power play. It could be Kindle though. Um, I think I think the other side of this game just makes this interesting because of how concentrated Pittsburgh has become. I mean, obvious narrative. Carlson, returning to Ottawa for some number of times, but he's also coming in playing better than arguably any other point of his entire fucking career. You look at the league right now, over 10 games. He is by far the best defenseman, not counting Carter Yakimchuk, who we'll talk about in just a minute. He's averaging 15 DK points a game. That doesn't include bonuses. Like he is shooting, he is getting points like no other. The power play is clicking, and Ricard Raquel is 4,900. So even if you don't want to play Chinikov roulette or whatever, like Raquel is so cheap that it makes it a reasonable stack. 18.6K, including Sidney Crosby. You could even leave off Sid and add on Carlson. We've talked about that for a number of years here with the way Sid plays. But ultimately, it's cheap enough where I think you could just go in on it and not break a sweat. I don't want to play, Novak Chinikov with Kevin Hayes. Like that just kind of feels gross. So I think the top line is preferable for me. On the Ottawa side, the story is namely the defense. The forwards remain the same. They're fine. But defensively, Matt and Paulo and Spence sort of acted. Well, I mean, Tyler Clevin played the most minutes, I think, at 5-on-5 with Zub. And then Spence picked up a ton of minutes with Matt and Paulo. But Jorian Donovan and Carter Yakimchuk, I think, were both called up from literal juniors to play in this game. And Yakimchuk, seventh pick a couple years ago, got a cup of coffee, I think, in his first or maybe it was preseason I'm thinking of, but I think he made the team out of camp. Anyway, he immediately came in and played on the top power play. Now it was interesting. He started a power play and then left like after 20 seconds, and then the next power play he started, they scored. And then they got no other power plays. So I think that's intentional that Yakimchuk is there, but it's obviously curious considering considering Carter Yakimchuk was playing in juniors 48 hours ago. So, any thoughts on Ottawa here?
Any thoughts on Ottawa here? I mean, yeah, the defense is really where it starts, of course, as you mentioned, like massive, massive minutes for. I mean, I don't know if I could truly say that any of these guys are unclickable. It just feels like Jordan Spence upside is the highest. Without the top power play, it's kind of tough. Yakimachuk, only 12 and a half minutes. He put up a 19 bomb at minimum salary and remains minimum salary. I have to imagine he's the most owned of the bunch, but I would assume that Clevin and Spence continue to see some level of ownership. Clevin ended up being pretty chalky. He only had a 1.5 in 28 minutes. Maybe people feel burned and don't go back to it. Artem Zub, 25 minutes. This is a guy people have clicked on before. What?
He outscored Spence. Clevin did.
He outscored Spence. Spence only had 1.3. Like, none of these guys really did anything other than Yakimachuk. I guess, Matt Paulo had 2 shots on goal, so he takes the big prize here. But, Zub had an assist, so he automatically won that. But, like, Yakimachuk did everything, and that feels very unsustainable. Like, he was on the ice for all 3 goals for in 12 and a half minutes. Like, I doubt that happens again. Are they going to trust him with a bigger role? Maybe it depends on if they're winning or losing. Maybe Yakimachuk makes more sense in a game stack here, which I think is very on the table. Like, this Penguins team is very banged up, very bad defensively. They just give up 6 goals in almost no time against Colorado. Ottawa is legitimately playing guys that were in juniors last week, and a guy in Matt and Paulo who has never seen has never been able to maintain a large presence in the NHL for 20 minutes. Like, this kind of has all the markings of being an interesting game stack situation. So any way you want to go, I think you're probably right. I think I'm a Spence guy. 3,400. It just feels like I don't mind going back to that well myself if I'm stacking Ottawa. I also might just not stack Ottawa. Like they're really, really expensive. But if I do, I think it's just Cousins, Brady, and maybe Jordan Spence.
Okay, I'm good with that. Ultimately, I think exposure to this game through Pittsburgh is totally fine. Like you can bet on, you don't need to play the Pittsburgh goalie, which I think would be the most common way to play it. Just because of the way Ottawa generates shots and whatnot. Um, but yeah, I think there could be some upside here. It's just a problem of pricing and uncertainty with a guy like Yakimchuk. The honorary DJ add a syllable guy for this month, I guess. Seattle threw us a curveball ahead of the Florida game.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who was scratched because like we knew Winterton wasn't with the team, which, by the way, if you didn't see, Ryan Winterton's brother passed away from cancer at 25. Just terrible. But we knew he was not going to be with the team. So what happened here? Do you recall the specifics?
Well, no McCann, of course. They just didn't play Neiman.
That's right.
Like,
They sent Newman down.
They
actually called up Fisker Volgaard today. So
yeah, they did.
Interesting.
A guy who is interesting and has game logs of 6, 5, and 6 minutes of ice time, and they don't play good young players ever. So I don't know why we think they might start now.
Those Olympics game logs, though.
I mean, I must agree, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough sledding. It's a really, really, really tough matchup. McCann's been great. McMahon, I mean, not McCann, Jesus Christ, but McMahon's been fantastic. I guess I get it, but am I really stacking against Tampa? I just don't think that's going to be on my bingo card myself. Like, I don't know how much we need to talk about this. Really, really cheap. There isn't a single player on Seattle above 5K. So anything you like, you could go for. I mean, I just think it's one off McMahon or move on.
Yeah, against Tampa, I can't get behind anything here. I want to say Berkeley Catton getting those minutes has to be a play, but we all know that's not actually the case. So
right.
Hopefully they post a point prop for him or something. But
yeah, he did see 19 fucking minutes, 0 shots on goal. What a joke. He had a great chance in overtime, and just the pass wasn't really there, so he ended up not getting the opportunity that I would have liked. But whatever, we Catton's fine too. We could talk about Tampa now. I mean, the last time we saw this matchup in Seattle, Kucherov had, survey says, 55. My bad.
Oh yeah, that was a fun night, wasn't it?
For you,
something tells me that will not be happening again here. Oliver Bergstrand was out last game for one of their idiots, Scott Sabrin, I think it was. I much like Austin Matthews, I had to check the back of the jersey there, which meant that Brandon Hagel was on the top power play. I think that's pretty good. I mean, he's 7,700 though, like 97 Kucherov, 77 Hagel, a monster team total. Like, do we want to be playing 25% owned Kucherov Hagel? I'm not positive. They came in at, I think, 7. I think Kucherov was something like 10 and Hagel's 6 or 7 last slate. So it's a little dicey, I think, once we start getting up in levels of ownership, just because of all the options on the slate. Because if you get it right, okay, congrats. You still have to get another thing right as far as like the winning the slate with the top scoring stack of the night. So I think I want to just call it here on my Tampa exposure. That line 22.6K. Sorelli's also been productive, I should note. And I'll just say the same thing as I did before the Minnesota game. That ended up not really happening because of the way that the injuries fared for Minnesota. Is that if you play Kucherov, it's just as acceptable to playing with Point and Gensel, and just say that, yep, this is the game that it doesn't quite work, or the power play just goes nuclear and, they're the guys scoring the goals. So Honestly, point Gensel without Kucherov is interesting. I'll need to think about it and check on ownership and whatnot, but that could be a sneaky way to go about things because them with Gonsalves has been genuinely good in terms of on ice stuff.
Yeah,
Any further thoughts?
I just, I'm not chasing Tampa all the way to the promised land, I suppose. And like they've been really productive, but it's incredibly priced in. I still agree with your take of like if you're playing Kucherov and Hagel, especially in this iteration, just play point. Find the 500 over Sorelli. I know he's been good, but like, what are we really doing here? Point did connect on the power play and it could come in spades. I just, I still, again, to my own chagrin, and I should just learn, still for some reason feel like Seattle's not as bad as all of their output over the past the 10 games would indicate. But, at some point, I feel like maybe they just suck, and I have to admit it.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Sad but true.
Yeah, in 82 minutes together, Gonsalves, Gensel point, 2.7 expected goals for, 2.4 expected goals against, outscoring the opponent 6-4. So yeah, just out shooting, out chancing, outscoring opposition, and we know Seattle is not much of opposition. So just some context there for a 15K line with two guys getting power play exposure to Nikita Kucherov and also Darren Radish, 6,200 there. Good play. Jesus Christ. I updated today the stats on the season, and Darren Radish relative to the league average defenseman on a permanent basis is just flat out better than Nikita Kucherov relative to the league average forward, which is,
Normal.
insane. It is
normal
scary.
Good stuff.
Better than Cale Makar, as a matter of fact. Holy fuck, what a season for Darren Radish.
Who isn't?
All right.
Let's talk about the New Jersey Devils coming off of a massive, massive win. Puts them right back in the mix to miss the playoffs by 10 points after their win against the Dallas Stars at home. Jack Hughes did a bunch of stuff. Connor Brown even got involved. Finally playing Connor Brown 18 minutes pays off. That line went pretty crazy. They play a national team that feels like they're never going to lose again. There's kind of two teams on this slate. We already talked about Ottawa, but like if you had told, I think anybody like, I don't know, a week ago that like, yeah, Nashville and Ottawa are going to be in the playoffs next week, you'd be like, I don't even think that's mathematically possible. And here we are. It was mathematically possible and they've done it. So New Jersey, it sounds like a good matchup on paper. They've been really good as far as underlyings are concerned kind of all year long. And finally they get the massive offensive explosion, but Jack Hughes has been crazy good since the Olympic break, and I guess in the Olympics as well, considering he won the gold medal and scored the goal. But like over the past 10 games, he has, 112 points, I believe is the exact number. He's put up, 32s and stuff like that. And I remember on the podcast last time, I was like, a lot of these big scores have come against really bad teams, like, the Rangers, but now he's done it against Dallas. Are you ready to go to the Devils, or are you going to continue to fade as we've done all season long?
Yeah, what's super interesting is, well, it doesn't feel good to play the Devils, just get that one out there. But this Nashville run, like, I think you've given me more credit than I deserve for saying, oh, Nashville, sneaky good, blah, 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 all that, like, whatever. Their run as of, geez, it's been like 2 months now, but their run is almost entirely UC Saros driven. They've been one of the worst teams, which kind of has a smell of the Buffalo Sabres to it, where it's like, okay, yeah, but they're leading so often that, like, are we really properly score contextualizing these things? Like, and this, again, the thing with the shots being counted differently and all that is like, okay, do rebounds get overly penalized because, well, guess what? When you give up a goal, you don't give up a rebound, and so that's just sort of something that I think about with this. But you look at some of the stats, and like UC Saros like leads the league by a bajillion goals saved above expected. Maybe like Sorokin's up there too, but the way the Nashville's playing has been conducive to opposing offenses. Right now, they are concentrating it onto that Brad Hughes Brown line. We just saw a proof of concept. It is 18K for a line that includes Jack Hughes and is perfectly power play correlated. ultimately this boils down to me not being a Jesper Bratt guy. But if you are a Jesper Bratt guy, this is the perfect time to go for it. This kind of feels like the Clayton Keller from last week. Maybe Keller's had a bit better of a season than Bratt. But like, if that's your dude, this is a good spot. Nashville's defense, I don't think it's worth much of anything. Timo and Heischer, I think teams still sort of treat them as like their number one. So Yossi would go up against them. The Swiss connection there. I feel like the second line is all I would do, but I also think that it is a pretty decent spot for them as well.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, I think it's a good spot. I've been tricked before by this doubles team, but it had been underlying for a long time and now coming to fruition. I tend to agree that feels like the Jack Hughes line is the right answer. Are you including a defenseman in this mix potentially? Ducky's 5,500. It kind of feels like that's a steep price to pay. He is top power play. He is getting big minutes, but is there any? I feel like they've always sort of been a team where the top power play guy feels important, but maybe not here.
I don't trust it. And Dougie's been fine, but I don't really trust I don't trust any of it from the Spoo line.
Perfect. We can move over now to our first birthday of the slate. Do you want to take a guess at who on Nashville's birthday is tomorrow?
All right. I haven't seen anything, so I'm going to go with, is it Brady Shea's birthday?
Wow, it's Brady Shea's birthday. How the fuck?
Oh.
Why are you so weird? Yep, happy birthday to Brady Shea. There are 4 birthdays, and I will tell you, Brady Shea and 2 others are on the slate. There's also Andrei Svechnikov's birthday, and there's no Carolina, so we will not be getting to wish him a happy birthday tomorrow himself, but happy birthday to Brady Shea. This game, I don't. I mean, is there any reason to think the Devils aren't worth attacking as well on the other side? Let me start you there.
As long as you're using Philip Forsberg with it, you can do whatever you want on the Nashville
I agree.
side.
I mean, yeah, that's really quite the way the news goes.
Like, Nedeljkovic was the sole reason that the game was a laugher on Tuesday. It didn't seem like anything inherently was, lopsided or whatever. It was just, their goalie didn't show up for work. It happens. But Forsberg has been on a run of form, pretty unlike any other right now, other than the true elites like Kucherov. And he's still sub 8K, 7,900, feels pretty solid. Jonathan Marchessault is on a bit of a run right now too, and he's 4,800. Then we get into the Matthew Wood discussion, and do you play Yossi or birthday boy Shea or whatever? I don't know. I don't think you do. I think Forsberg Marchessault is good enough, but yeah, I'm certainly interested in that. I don't know. I worry though that we're just missing the Forsberg train, that it's all going to go back to zero. It's kind of my concern here. But maybe I'm just maybe that's a Sam Helm in me speaking, Swedish international coach.
Yeah, I like both sides of this game just fine. It is both teams kind of performing pretty well and getting expensive, and the pieces I want are too expensive to kind of like. I'd love to get Hughes and Forsberg in a lineup. I mean, of course you could do it, but then it's like, well, then I want Marchessault and then I want Bratt, and it's like, well, those are the guys that come along for the ride and are a little bit cheaper, but still you've eaten up quite a bit of your cap on those 4. But I do like this game. I do like this spot, and I'm totally fine with it. I feel like again, it's not going to be what I end up on, but I have no problem with that stack at all. I don't think you need to go to the O'Reilly, Stamkos, Evangelista line. The top power play is Forsberg and Marchessault, and Stamkos is of course a guy that can score on it. So I think if you're gonna add another piece, it's probably him. Yossi, of course, in consideration, but 7,400 just feels a little bit steep still for his production. I know he scored last game, but 13 points isn't enough. We need the 5-shot on goal Roman Yossi of the past if we're paying that price for him. So we can move over to San Jose if you're ready.
Indeed. Let's do it. San Jose.
Yep.
Like we just talked about, that game was a laugher, but not really the fault of the players. We had a Will Smith night, which is obviously good news for the Will Smith believers out here. Actually, did I? Now I'm skeptical. Did I not run this shit for the new game of, or the new day of information? Let me just do a quick check, because Will Smith has been bad, but I'm not sure that he's been this bad, including the last game where he did well. So anyway, while we do that, I don't
Yeah, I mean, it's
think their lineup will
back-to-back
change.
shot
Any thoughts
bonuses,
here?
so
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of doubt it as well. Chernishoff looked right where you want him to be, fitting in on that top line with Celebrini and Will Smith. The game got away from them. The third line got absolutely, railroaded. Misa, Sherwood, and Regenda, shockingly enough, could not handle the Forsberg Marchessault line, so they were, put out to pasture. I like this top line of San Jose a lot. I really don't think Celebrini is going to see a ton of ownership. He's coming down in price a little bit at 9,200. Does anybody have a higher ceiling than Macklin Celebrini in the league? It feels like he is just right up there with all the rest of the top guys. And you get a very reduced price, 3K play in Igor Chernyshov, who is a really good player and has rates to back it and goal scoring upside. So I like that a lot. I would definitely include Will Smith, as I just was getting to. He has back-to-back shot bonus games. Seems like he is just back to full form. 3 games in a row, he's playing over 20 minutes of ice time, top power play, and we finally, kind of got everything to come together, and the Sabres lose. Fuck.
Oh no! What are we gonna do? The Sabres lose.
Any other thoughts on the Sharks?
The Sharks. Not really. This is correct, by the way. Will Smith was so bad the 8 games before it that these last 2 games they're doing nothing for him here. The only way I'm interested in San Jose is if Robert Thomas is out, and it seems like he's fine after last game's nonsense from PL Dubois. So slightly keeping an eye out here, but in any case, St. Louis should be going Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud. In practice today, they used Dvorsky with Holloway and Snuggerud, which isn't the best sign that Thomas is good to go, but they also called it maintenance. He left last game, didn't return after getting effectively body slammed by Dubois. A very weird play. Kind of seemed like Dubois was sick of getting picked and tried to make him, pay for it, basically. I think it was the second or third time on the shift that he had been picked on, sort of an interference play. So as long as Thomas plays, I just trust St. Louis to deaden the pace, to control things, and I don't really think San Jose makes this like a fun game. And even if so, the pricing just doesn't really reflect reality on the St. Louis side. Like, the top line's been fine, but they have not been 19.3K on a 13 game slate levels of fine. And Neighbors, Buchnevich, Cairo is much cheaper, but it's just really hard to trust. 13K for no production whatsoever, 15 DK points per game, and the bottom 6 is even worse. So there's absolutely nothing here that I would play. What about you?
Yeah, I like the San Jose side a lot more. I'm really not that interested in the St. Louis side. I think they're pretty bad, but the top line's been great. It's just too expensive to consider on this slate, so I will not be considering it. And the defensemen too. It's like these were once really good cheap options. They're no longer. Just not enough volume, I think. I mean, if you're going all the way on St. Louis and playing that top line, I have no problem with clicking Broberg, but I'm not one-offing anything here, so it's kind of all the way in or just get out.
Okay, next up, Colorado at Winnipeg. Landeskog, McKinnon, Nachos, Colton, Nelson, Nichushkin, Kelly, Kadri, O'Connor, Bardakov, Drury, Kiviranta. The only guy missing is Lehkonen. I think he's close, but I don't think it's like Thursday close. Gavin Brindley scratched, so we could see guys start to rotate out, as the season winds down, but it looks like Colorado is fully healthy. Which is a bit of a concern from a time on ice standpoint. I didn't actually stress test that, but I guess last game they also won by 6-2, so they didn't need to push guys for minutes. But we are dealing with a situation where Colorado was so banged up for so long that like we just saw these ridiculous time on ice from their forwards, that like it was priced in because the production was just so
Yeah.
steady with how long it was. So automatically, I'm just kind of opposed to playing Colorado because I don't trust that the minutes will be lower, or that they'll be equal to what they've been in the past, and I think that's what the pricing reflects. There's an ownership component that got to consider, but ultimately, I do think that people will just click Nate McKinnon because that's he has the highest number, because he's the best, and I don't believe that, and I've been punished for it resoundingly. So anything from you here on this alignment or points of interest?
I mean, this entire game to me is a a non-starter. I'm just not playing this game. It's way too expensive on the Colorado side. I mean, I think you could one-off Cal McCarr at 7,200. 17 and a half last game. It's fine. But he can kind of get there through a couple different avenues. And I like Cal McCarr a lot. But the rest of this game is just a no from me. This is too expensive. I completely agree with the offensive role probably getting diminished over time, especially if Colorado's winning in a game. Like, what is the point of playing 25 minutes of Nathan McKinnon when the injury risk just goes up? So probably gonna sit this one out, and I do think people will click on it because like it's still a high total for them. They're a 6.5 with a pretty high, implied team total. So people will be clicking on this, and Winnipeg's bad, so there's that as well. And on the Winnipeg side, if you're ready to move over, unless there's any last player you want to talk about, but
With
guessing
11
no.
games to go, how many points behind the second wildcard spot are the Winnipeg Jets?
I think it's like 7.
It's 5.
God, I hate this team.
They are chasing Nashville.
Yeah, they're going to need a win. I mean, and they need
Yeah.
wins, and they're playing Connor Scheifele a bazillion minutes, and like Perfetti, like these guys are fine, but like against Colorado at these prices, it just again with Winnipeg, it's are you really clicking on not Connor, not Scheifele, and playing other pieces here? I mean, I'm not. Velarde played a ton of minutes. Iafallo is not all that important, but is of course on that top line and can get drawn for the ride, at least in some small capacity. God, I don't know. I mean, it's just too expensive. Like I like Cole Perfetti as much as the next guy, but even 4,600 for Cole Perfetti just feels like unnecessary. Like I'm not clicking on this at all.
The thing that makes me think is Morrissey is paired with Neil Pionk returning from injury.
Makes you
and
think.
that automatically turns whatever line on the ice with them into sort of a power unit that isn't as good as McKinnon, McCarr, and whatever else. But like right now, it's Brett Kulak, Gabe Landeskog. Like I don't know if the supporting cast there is the best for Colorado. If they do choose to use Scheifele Connor against that power on power with Morrissey and Pionk, that could be kind of fun. It feels like more of a turbo slate thing to think about more so than a main slate, but even just a combination stack of just like a double D Morrissey Pionk, it's just one of those interesting things that I think about because Pionk is so obviously underpriced for what he's been historically
he
as a
is.
player. And Morrissey's going to create.
And what he's been since he returned. He has, what, 9 shots on goal in 3 games? Like, 3 blocks? Like, he could guy, but like if he ends up being, a guy that gets 15, like anyone surprised at his price? No. So like I definitely like that play individually, and I think if you're on a turbo slate stacking, I wouldn't think that I'm called, but I think on a 13 gamer with just like I don't know 7 spots, I like a good bit more, maybe 8. Like I don't know, probably not doing it myself, but definitely on a smaller slate and maybe something in the underdog streets as well. Like the reason this is a bad play on DraftKings is because of how expensive it is. It's really not that I couldn't conceive of a world where Connor and Scheifele are good plays, and they might not even get drafted all that much. So I think like that's where I'd rather push my chips in on a Winnipeg situation. Like, yeah, you're only playing for $1,000, but are you gonna scoff at $1,000? I won't.
Okay. The bottom 6 is All right. I don't even think tomorrow's slate is 1K with MLB. Let's see. What do we got?
I doubt it. 500. Make me sad.
Are you looking at it?
No, but I will. It is $10. That is the
1K.
Zamboni.
It's 1K
Okay.
tomorrow. So there you go. There's your top shelf Thursday tout of the night, Winnipeg. And I will sign on to that. I do like it, and didn't mention it for the same
I'm gonna
reasons
try
as
to
you.
draft a team.
Yeah, the on paper isn't going to look great, but that's like you said about some other team. The bottom of the lineup is to blame for some.
I'm just gonna tell you this. ADP in order: Kucherov, McKinnon, McDavid, Kaprizov, Dostal, which makes no sense, but whatever. Always like that. Caulfield, Robertson, Dylan Holloway, which I kind of get because he like hits and things, but like, huh?
I'm not going to talk about
Okay.
underdog, but I am finally advancing
Perfect.
a team to the final. By the way,
We
it
only
took
can
Jason
pray.
Robertson putting the team on his back, and then Mika Zibanejad saying, "Wait, I'm not dead, but I am advancing a team right now." So, underdog is live.
Are you ready for our second birthday coming up in this next game? And
Is
this
it
next
Mason
game?
McTavish's birthday?
It is not.
Okay, then
Sadly,
I am ready though.
Sadly, I don't think this guy's gonna play. And he's just, I mean, couldn't be more of a moods dude.
Ian Moore?
Oh no, I thought you were the Drew Hellison guy.
Oh, fuck you.
Fuck
you. You know what? You
He
finish
wins.
the show. You finish.
He gets the joke. Oh man, yeah, I know. I knew you'd say it was Ian Moore, but it's Drew Hellison. Doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, Drew Hellison's birthday, not gonna play. What are you gonna do? Anaheim, again, I don't remember exactly how chalky they.
Well, that was a preposterously bad time for me to leave on a bit to fill my water bottle and DJ to have his internet
I
crash.
cut out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it crashing? It's been
I don't know,
so
but
good every podcast.
I literally stood up and left to fill my water bottle, and you cut out then, so that was tough.
Perfect. We love dead air. I don't know. I'm not doing anything different. It's been very good lately, and it cuts out. Anyways, though, Anaheim was fine. I don't remember exactly how owned they ended up getting, but didn't seem to be as insane as I thought. I don't know. Do you remember how owned they were against?
It was the top line.
I
it was Kreider, Carlson, Terry that got the ownership too, so
like
it's fine.
I feel like people might go back to it here against the Flames, but not really sure. What do you think?
I want to be a stubborn mule and just, Cutter, Veal, Paling, and be an idiot, but watching that last game, I think it was over the weekend, they got the two empty netters that bailed me out for stacking that line. They've not had the same sort of flair. They've not really played a ton of minutes. Veal 13, Cutter 17, Paling 16 last game. That's not what I meant to click on.
Porn?
No, it was Steam. What was I looking at? I was trying to look at the 5-on-5 matchups. Here we go.
Great.
Yeah, they ate some of the Pettersson matchup and lost to Elias Pettersson, so that explains the tough outing for Veal. In any case, it's Cutter or nothing for me here, honestly. I'm also interested in John Carlson. He was owned alongside Kreider, Carlson, Terry, though. I do wonder if that's gonna just gain ownership as a result. But yeah, I not gonna lie, kind of like Calgary here, and it's really annoying. I wish I could get it out of my system, but I watched them and I'm like, hey, good players are doing good things, and so I kind of like that side more than Anaheim, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you that Cutter is the guy, and I think you could run it back with some Flames, and I would not call anyone an idiot for going back to the top line again. Like fully power play correlated, and it's been really, really good. I kind of like John Carlson, but 5,100 seems a little bit more than I want to play. But 21 points last time out, 3 assists. I don't know. You could do it. It's fine. Let's talk about the Flames. They're more interesting than the Anaheim Ducks, as everyone's saying.
Well, good thing I didn't update any of their stuff from last game. Let's see. Coleman, Backlund, Farabee, Sharon Govich, Strome, Olafson, Greedon, Frost, Coronado, Lomberg, Posivso, Klapka. Great. I did it. It's not terrible. But the Coronado, Frost, Greedon line is fully power play 1 correlated. Zane Parekh scored on the power play.
5 shots, too.
Yeah. He just looked good. And that's going to happen when you are a young phenom entering the league and, you're kind of getting the Brent Clark treatment where it's like, yeah, we're not going to trust you to play the full boatload of minutes. But unlike Clark, Parrick's not really proven anything at this point. But like it is there. The toolkit is certainly full to work with. Coronado, Frost, Greedon. I think Morgan Frost is just a certified dude. He's kind of turning into like my Cody Glass-esque like affection where it's just like I think the dude is super talented and it seems like he's starting to figure it out, just like how to win an NHL level. And they don't have many other options right now, so he is getting a lot of run. 19 minutes last game. It's been a consistent theme that Morgan Frost has sort of been driving things since the trade deadline. And Coronado and Greedon are probably the 2 best offensive weapons here that you can put alongside him. So all 4 of those dudes, I probably don't play 4 together, but something like Frost, Coronado, Parekh is really really appealing to me for their price, which is a combined. Oh, well, Excel wanted to freeze. A combined 11.2K, which is just staggeringly cheap, in my opinion.
Staggeringly cheap in all of our opinions. We're all out here thinking about it. It's a really good cheap stack. There's just no red flags. I mean, Perrier is a great play. I don't really think he's going to garner a lot of ownership, and people are going to be legitimately going like, do I play Perrier or Clevin? And then they're going to click on Clevin. I will not be one of those people myself. I think Perrier is just a very, very good option. So no issues there. The Ducks are bad defensively, and I don't really think that that's been completely fixed. So sounds good to me. Flames at home. I could sign up for them as a cheap, weird stack on a 13-game slate in the best game of the night, as we're saying. Like this game is super duper, and like you could play Cutter on the other end. It certainly can afford it. And I think that's the way to do this. You just say, Cutter is going to get. The thing is, like, I don't even know. Are they going to hard match anything here? Like, I doubt it. So, like, just hope that Cutter goes against anybody else, and that all the scoring comes through the clear best line for scoring on the Flames, and Cutter gets a hat trick, and all of a sudden you've won all the money.
Just like that, very easy. By the way, Zach Whitecloud is in the lineup, so that's actually very useful because he played 28 minutes last game. So
he's 28 minutes with Ball and then Mata and whatever the fuck that guy's last name is. I can never Hunter, whatever, and then Perrier had 18, Hanley had 14. But like the Perrier uptick is coming for sure. But yeah, Zach Whitecloud is. Never leaves the ice, interestingly enough. Much to my chagrin. We have 3 games left. My allergies are making my nose run, and it's annoying me. But we have at least 3 good spots left. One of them is not Washington. Oh.
They just got shut out by St. Louis, so I don't trust any of their lines. I don't think it matters. PLD's not being suspended or anything, so he'll be available. As you can see, though, it's pretty much a clusterfuck. No one's good. No one's scoring. It's been a tough year for Washington. Cole Hudson's even playing twice, if my sheet is to be believed. So I don't really care to fix it or talk about it. By the way, they were playing Utah, which is part of the reason for trying to just push
I've
through this.
never been less interested in a team in my entire life than Washington at Utah, and if they win the slate, you can clip it.
All right.
We're sitting here. We're ready to talk about Utah in a
What's
very
really
good
funny
spot.
is the game looks fine on paper by the rainbow.
The game
shape,
is fine. I don't
that's
know.
funny.
I mean, I'm not doing
so
it,
funny.
but it's a fine
Anyway.
game with fine people on both sides. So
You know what? Let me just tout Tom Wilson on the Washington side. Whoever Tom Wilson's with would be what I go to if you really want a piece of Washington. All right, Utah.
Pizza Washington?
What?
Nothing. Utah. The big news here is there's no Barrett Hayton. No Barrett Hayton means Logan Cooley to the top power play. Is Logan Cooley been, or has he been, a world beater? No. Does getting the top power play role instinctually mean he is going to all of a sudden become a rate shooter? No. But is Washington bad in a team that I like to stack against? I think the answer might be yes. So Logan Cooley, probably chalky-ish, but at 4,800, is it really a must play?
Yeah, it's very scary that DJ hits on the Quentin Byfield game and immediately moves on to his other pet projects. Logan Cooley.
Yes.
Can he strike lightning twice? Can his lightning strike twice? There we go. There's a sentence that makes more sense. I don't know. It doesn't feel great to me. I will say that much. I suppose as a Dylan Gunther guy, it helps that he now has a line mate that is power play one correlated. And obviously Paterka, Cooley, Gunther is a good line on paper for scoring fantasy points. But man, it doesn't feel that way. But I'm just not a Utah believer, I guess. Pity on me. Daniil Boot got called back up. That's nice. He crushed AHL when he got sent down. So good news there, I guess, that he's back for us. Carconi, McBain, Boot is how I expect they'll go, and that third line is actually decent and it's very very cheap. You could take a mini stack there and take it fine. I think McBain at minimum salary is interesting. He's always been sort of a tertiary dude, and he steps into a power play role as long as Boot doesn't get it, based on last game. All that in mind, though, I don't see myself playing Utah, in all honesty. The game's fine on the rainbow shape, but in my head, I like every other game better. Literally, every other game.
Yeah, I think that's really the fine take here. I mean, I could definitely consider playing Utah, but I think I like a lot of other games a little bit more, including, honestly, I really don't hate the idea of going to Edmonton. Vegas has just not been very good. And Connor McDavid, like, could he be under-owned on this slate at 9,500? He's come way down in price. He's starting to look like Connor McDavid as we need him to be, playing big role, scoring goals again. Is he going to get back in the goal leader race for us? I mean, no, but we could pretend if he scores like 3 goals in this game that he might. I don't hate the idea of McDavid here. I really don't. Oh, and there's a birthday.
Yeah. Really?
Whose birthday is it, though?
Oh, I thought you were saying it was McDavid's birthday.
It's not McDavid's birthday. He is, I can't remember his birthday off the top of my head, but
congratulations
I think he's like
to
November.
Congratulations to Matthias Ekholm for turning 48 years old.
It is not Ekholm. It is a defenseman.
Well, tell me it's not Evan Bouchard.
I wish it was, but unfortunately for everybody, it is not. It is Connor Murphy's birthday.
Oh, that's nice. Congratulations, Connor Murphy. I don't know how old you are. You could be 28. You could be fucking 34 for all I know.
I'm going to guess he's 31. He is. He was born. I guess Hockey Reference doesn't say. No, it does. He was born in 1993. So he's 32.
Okay, great. Glad now we know. My tennis
33.
Elo model that factors in age
33.
was desperate to find out that information.
I literally can't even do that math. He's 33. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. The boy, good? Question mark.
Oh yeah, because I
Back
was
on
about to say
track?
when's his birthday, but I guess we do know that his birthday is literally on Thursday.
Yeah, his
so
birthday is tomorrow and he's a
there we
93,
go.
so he will be. Yeah. Matt Savoy, question mark, good? Question mark. Back to you in the studio.
Fine, whatever. He's getting priced up faster than he's proving that he's good. It's the exact situation that I hate falling into. If you've been riding the Matt Savoy train, by all means, do not get off. But I've not been on it. I'm not gonna hop on at 4,100 and be like, oh, actually, this is the guy that's gonna be a good player alongside McDavid. When we've seen every single person come through Edmonton have runs where honestly Savoy's not even been that good. You look at his run and it's nowhere. It's not good. We've seen guys, many a guy have a better run alongside McDavid. That that turned into nothing. So, yes, he's probably going to turn into something. No, I'm not feeling like I'm going to miss out. Sinbin Vegas, a very the main sort of fan account of the Golden Knights. They've been banging this drum for a while, but very interesting tweet. The Vegas Golden Knights are your NHL leader in time spent trailing. Vegas has been behind for 1,845 minutes. They are only the only team within 100 minutes of them is Vancouver. They have spent 26% of the season leading, 42% of it trailing, 32% of it tied. Ludicrous stuff from Vegas. They are not good.
Yeah.
You are onto something with Edmonton. Unfortunately, I don't think I can play anyone on Edmonton.
McDavid, Bouchard, Hyman, be a man or don't, or just leave your wallet at home. I'm down with it. On the Vegas side, then we might as well just move over. I like Edmonton a lot. They've been fine. Like this top line, this second line, like underlying, it looks good. Why isn't it producing? Jack Eichel, 22 minutes against Winnipeg, 4 shots on goal, finishes with a 6. Is just not even close to enough. His price is kind of just stagnated at the 8K. A guy that we were, maybe not happy to click on when he was 9,800, but like, there's a reason he got up to that price. He has 74 points in 64 games. He's one of the best players in the world. Mark Stone feels like a guy that you'd pair along with him. And if Eichel goes for the 40 bomb that you need, Stone might go for 35. I don't know. I mean, this game in general feels really, really good. I wouldn't fault you for clicking on either side. Vegas at home could find opportunity to put either of these two lines against the likes of, Szymanski, Dickinson, and Kapanen. But are you going to click the buttons here?
No.
Cool.
Shea Theodore.
Back.
I don't know. He's a person. He's still 3,600. I think I prefer Neil Pionk though, so maybe not the most resounding tout I've ever made. I tried to make the case for Eichel Stone last time against Winnipeg. They played all the minutes. Nothing happened. Maybe we find a new line setup that sells me on Eichel, but man, tough sledding right now for him. And I'll probably just wait to see him get out of it before I try to chase it. Because there's other centers at the high end that are around this price that I very much so I want to play. Connor
Bedard. We are down to the final game. The final game is LA at Vegas. We'll obviously start with LA as
Vancouver.
The order of operations. Did I say Vegas? Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
I mean, I just read a tweet. It might actually be better if they were playing Vegas, given the way they trail in games. But in any case,
the Oregon Trail from LA to Vancouver. LA coming off of
do we have another? No, we got through our birthdays, right?
We're all through the birthdays. No more birthdays.
Okay. Good.
A swing and a miss against the Flames in a must-win game. It feels like they just decided not to win. Byfield did everything he possibly could to get them into position to win, but only could do so much. Panarin, Kempe, and Kopitar, if you've seen them, please alert. Please help me to find them myself. I have not seen Adrian Kempe show up in what feels like weeks. He's, of course, battling an injury, but still playing 19 and a half minutes, 0 shots, 0 blocks, 0 points, a true zero against the Flames. He gets a great matchup. He's come way down in price. Panarin's been very good on the other hand, but, not maybe good enough on his own to, pay off 7.3K every single night. I struggle to find a very easy, cohesive way to build LA. The top power play was Kempe, Panarin, Clark, and then kind of Kopitar, Byfield, Laferriere. But Kopitar and Laferriere a bit over Byfield. I don't know. I can't. I'm not comfortable saying that I'm going to LA. I'm certainly not fading them or excluding them in any way, and they should be considered. But is this a good buy low spot, or is this people are going to get fooled into playing a chalky LA team that sucks?
I am I going to be fooled into playing an LA team that sucks? That feels a little too friendly to me. I'm gonna know full well what I am doing when I do it, and yeah, it's not been a fun time. It feels like everything's there. The pricing, like Kopitar's been productive. 18.6K for a line generating somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 31, 32 expected and 32 actual. And then you have a defenseman who we know is going to play 20 plus minutes and be a good fantasy guy in Brant Clark, but doesn't ever seem to turn into fantasy points. So it's been 6 or 7 games of just me constantly going back to the well, and I think benefiting twice from it. But it shows that he has a sort of upside that on average he still looks pretty good despite having a number of clunkers in there. He's got the sort of blocks and stuff to get him through some games that otherwise he would be a total failure. And he's got one of the best matchups possible, like in Vancouver. It's just a matter of I don't know. Actually, I don't know what it's a matter of. I guess it's a matter of just being brave and not giving up on your core beliefs. Because I truly do believe that Brant Clark in 2 years' time will be a 7K plus fantasy defenseman in the ilk of like a Zach Werenski. Um, but yeah, it's been tough sledding to get there. So I'm just gonna do it. Maybe something like just Clark Panarin instead of going the full line. Clark Laferriere is interesting, but I do wonder if that's more common given the second line's pricing and the matchup, and, projected ownership to come in on the Kings.
No, I want to click on the top line so bad. I sometimes it's like Kempe. It's not even like he looks injured. Like he's legitimately day to day. It feels like every day, and then he plays and he doesn't look good, and he doesn't do anything. And then he's, game time decision. And you're like, I think you could maybe convince yourself not to play him. But then again, at some point, he's going to be healthy. And it's obviously just a nagging injury. And what if this is a game that he is back on track, and you're fading him at his as what feels like kind of a lower point, not even his low point, but a lower point against a really, really good matchup in Vancouver. I guess we'll get over to them. The top 6 has really been fine. It's come up in price a little bit, not a lot, just a smidge. For some reason, Hronek is really the guy that's come up in price. It feels like he did have a 21.8 against the Ducks because the Ducks are this weird bad-ish team defensively, like I mentioned, and can give up some volume. But alas, I don't think I'm quite brave enough to go to Vancouver here. I feel like LA is respectable enough to not have to be this insane, but do you have any thoughts on playing Vancouver again? We have played them lately. It's not that we're faders here.
Yeah, I don't think LA is the team that I want to use to try and try to predict the LA Kings just torpedoing a game or something. Doesn't feel like this is the spot. So Yeah, it's fine. Besser 4,500. He's been sort of the power play has started to run through him more. He's been productive, so I imagine that's a positive feedback loop. Elias Pettersson has nudged up his expected output and actual output, and the price hasn't really followed. But really, it's not about that. I don't think. Like you're just so unlikely to find a 25, 30 point game from anyone on Vancouver. And on a 13 game slate, you're going to want that. I just don't think this game turns into that sort of affair. Yeah, Jake DeBrusk at
Unfair, not
4,200.
unfair.
Me, because last game they went Bluger, Carlson, DeBrusk, and I'm a huge Linus Carlson guy. Um, Honestly, if Linus Carlson played 17 minutes, I might try to mix in a bet on him just because I think he's genuinely good. But yeah, that's fucking way inside baseball.
Yeah, congratulations on bringing up Linus Carlson at the buzzer, because really, really good stuff here from the boys.
We haven't gone off the reservation enough on this show.
Yeah, we are teetering towards chaos. Last time out, our top stacks, you had the sort of Islanders, Chicago mini that didn't really get there. You had LA 1, I wrote down, which I was really surprised by. Tippett, Doro, I don't really remember if either of them scored. I had McMahon and Leo. We at least went 1 for 4. I don't really know who scored of the. Did Tippett score? I don't know. I had
Tippett
Colorado
did
1,
not
Nashville
score.
1, like a
Leo,
coward
wait.
because they. Leo score?
Did you go for 2 for 2? Let's see.
I don't remember Leo scoring. I remember Terry scoring. Did Leo score?
Yeah, it was Terry scoring the empty
Nah,
netter.
it was Terry. Yep. Fair enough. Top stacks, guarantee goals. I went first on both last time, so I'm welcoming you to the floor if you'd like it.
Yeah, Tuesday, it was a bad day.
We don't talk about Tuesday
nothing
anymore.
I did hit. But we will recover. We will. I swear to you, it'll be a recovery day here on the Moiscape podcast. Let's do Zegras, Tippett, Ristolainen. We're going Philadelphia to get out of the rut.
How do we fix what happened Tuesday? We go to fucking Philadelphia. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out from.
All right.
They're playing. You know what?
They're playing Chicago. Ultimately, that's what it is.
Give me San Jose 1. Celebrini, Igor Chernyshov, and Will Smith.
Against the St. Louis Blues? I don't even know if you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, how could I possibly attack Broberg and Mayu? No idea.
And then the great state of Pennsylvania is going to come through for us because I want a piece of that Erik Karlsson heading into Ottawa. So give me Erik Karlsson plus Brian Rust plus Rickard Rakell. Too cheap. Yeah, you can add in Sidney Crosby. Just talked about that, but man, that's so cheap. Ottawa has no defense. Erik Karlsson is basically the best player in the world right now. And what a better time to roll in through Ottawa to just put the final nail in their. Well, I mean, they still could make the playoffs by losing, but it would be nice for Pittsburgh to say, hey, we still want that playoff spot. So give me that stack.
I bet they do. I bet they will try to get it. And if they do, it's all thanks to you. So thank you for your bravery, for the great people of the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Your favorite, I believe, city in Pennsylvania.
If I had a best friend and he was getting married, I would definitely tell him to have his bachelor party there at the first weekend of May when it's maybe not going to be snowing.
It didn't snow. So thank you for your
nice
service
out.
weather. It was very nice out. Thank you for your service weather. Yep, I guess I have to pick a second stack, and I wanted to go with something not too expensive, and I am going to go... God. This is frustrating because I like... You know what? I'm just going to do Montreal 1. I don't really care. I like Montreal 1. Not that brave. You did Philly one and I did Pittsburgh one. Okay,
That's right,
perfect.
baby.
Goals that are guaranteed to score. Might you have one? I could start if you want.
Mark Scheifele.
Wow. Right.
That's
How
a
much is
hockey
he?
player right there. He at 7K.
God, the player I have is 7K. I won't do
Let's
it.
go.
I won't do it. I refuse. I'm going middle. I was gonna do Cutter. But I will instead give me Laferriere. I probably used him recently, but I don't really care. 4,800 Laferriere.
Maybe I've used him. I don't think so though. Okay. I have 4K. Give me a 3,700 Morgan Frost. Just two
Wow.
quality hockey players right there. They're not going to shoot a ton. You're not going to get a 5-shot bonus from them most nights. But my God, I think those boys have hands. I think they can both beat their goalies easily.
Okay. I will go. I'll go Fantilli again. I know I bet him last time out, and I'm gonna bet him again. So Laferriere, Fantilli, Fat Mark, and hold on, I didn't write your last guy down, and I just zoned out.
Morgan Frost.
Frost. I literally was about to write down Geeky. I swear on my life that was when I was about to start writing, and I was like, he's not on this slate, and then my brain just broke. Not too many Morgans in the NHL, but the Canadians are weird. Like Canadians are like, Morgan from Sydney and Carey, and it's like, yep, that's those are all Canadian hockey players. Although Carey Price probably didn't have too many assists, but alas.
Kerry Lettinen.
There you go.
I guess that doesn't really fit your.
You just from Doug.
We should go. Actually, do you think we can just do another 3 games? Do you think we can just just make up 3 more games to go through? Buffalo and one of the teams not playing.
Detroit,
Buffalo
the Friday
and
matchup.
Detroit. Yeah, perfect. There we go.
Yeah, we can break it
all right,
down.
so yeah, this is the Thursday slate. Obviously, baseball going. I'm going to check what the Friday prize pools are before committing to a newsletter. We have Detroit, Buffalo, and Chicago and the Rangers. And if you really want to see me write about Anton Frundell for, 2,000 words, I can. But ultimately, I may take that opportunity to, put some work into the Zamboni or something. So we'll see what the Friday prize pools are. Best of luck to those that are trying to multi-sport it on Thursday. It's a great day of golf, of college basketball, of the NHL, of baseball, and there might even be NBA. Yeah, there's 3 NBA games. There's a couple. Actually, there's 4 banger tennis matches. So it's a great day. It's a great goddamn day of sports on Thursday. You have anything to add, DJ?
No, it's time for bed. Time to go sleep.
And there's World Cup qualifiers in UEFA. There we go. Great. We're loaded up. Alrighty. What a show. Thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a good Thursday, everybody, and we will see ya.
You're sitting there looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.